everybody, how's it going? Aaron Rift here from NoDQ.com to give you my thoughts on the WWE NXT Takeover The End pay-per-view special from Full Sail University in Orlando, Florida. Overall, I thought that this was a very solid show from start to finish. Definitely not one of the best NXT pay-per-views, but still, entertaining stuff. We kicked off the pay-per-view with the debut of Andrade Cien Almas against Ty Dillinger. Crowd was super hot from the get-go. They were doing chants. They were really into Ty Dillinger. This was a fun match. Almas looked impressive. He did a standing moonsault and then did another moonsault when he landed. That was pretty much the highlight of this match. Good showing for Almas as he picked up a win in his debut match. Next up, we had the tag team title match. We had American Alpha defending against the Revival. I mentioned a few weeks ago when I went to Portland to see NXT Live, these two tag teams tore down the house. Probably the best house show match I've ever seen from WWE. They had yet another awesome match. The string of matches between these two continues. Awesome performance from everybody involved. Tons of cool stuff in this match. The crowd was red hot. We had dueling ankle locks at one point. The crowd doing the usual Gable chants to Kurt Angle's theme song. It's just a shame. We should really be seeing Kurt Angle with these guys. That would be really awesome to see Angle as the mentor for these guys. I think the crowd would just completely lose it if that ever happened. But yeah, this match was tremendous. Revival got control, and then the big hot tag, Jordan comes in, and this was the epitome of a hot tag. He came in there and was on fire. Crowd going nuts for all this, but in the end, Revival was able to get the upper hand, and they won the tag team titles for a second time. New tag team champions. Post-match, we had American Alpha getting a standing ovation from the fans, and then all of a sudden, these two large individuals come in and jump American Alpha and lay them out. The team is known as the Authors of Pain. They were recently signed by WWE in April, I believe. But the biggest surprise here was former manager of LOD, Paul Ellering, showing up on the apron and apparently is the new manager for the Authors of Pain. Crowd did not even seem to recognize Paul Ellering, and they were chanting, "Who are you?" And I think Kevin Owens went on Twitter and bashed the fans for that. Good opportunity for a Kevin Owens bashing the NXT fans moment. So yeah, we have a new tag team on the horizon, and perhaps this means that the Revival will be turning babyface, and we will have the American Alpha tag team move up to the main roster now with the draft coming up soon. That's what I got from this whole situation here. Time will tell, but one would think that the American Alpha will be on the main roster sooner than later. And as I mentioned before, it would be tremendous to see Kurt Angle with them. If WWE's afraid of Kurt Angle getting hurt by getting in the ring, then at the very least, Angle can be their mentor. And I think that that would give them a great opportunity to succeed in WWE. Not that they need Angle or anything, but I just think it would be awesome for Angle to be aligned with them, and a new Team Angle can emerge on the main WWE roster. I just think it would be a good way to utilize Kurt Angle and bring him back. Then we had Nakamura versus AJ Styles. This was not as good as Nakamura versus Sami Zayn from Dallas, but still, really good match from these two as expected. Crowd was humming Nakamura's theme song right from the get-go, and that was pretty cool. When Austin Aries had control and the crowd was trying to get Nakamura back into the match, they started humming the theme song. That was awesome. It was a bit of a slow-paced match, but then at the end, things really picked up. Austin Aries hit a brutal-looking Death Valley driver onto the apron, and then when Nakamura was trying to recover, Austin Aries went for a dive. Nakamura moved out of the way, and Austin Aries crashed and burned into the guardrail and knocking down the WWE sign in the process. And this was essentially the downfall for Austin Aries. Nakamura got Austin back in the ring, and he did a reverse exploder and then hit the Kinshasa for the victory. Nakamura's undefeated streak in NXT continues, and I feel the right guy won here. Nakamura is definitely the guy that has the potential to go far in WWE. Austin Aries does as well. He had a very good showing here, and this was a really good match. Then we had Nia Jax challenging Asuka for the NXT Women's Championship. The crowd was starting to get tired at this point, and the lack of crowd heat hurt this match a little bit. Basically, the story here was Nia Jax using her power moves to try and take down Asuka. At one point, she took Asuka to the outside and literally used the steel post to bend Asuka's body. I thought that that was a really cool moment to showcase Nia Jax's power. Asuka tried to gain control by using submission holds. I liked the dynamic here with these two. In the end, Asuka hit several kicks to the head of Nia Jax, and that was the end of the match. Asuka retained the Women's Championship. Good match, not a classic by any means. Crowd heat was lacking, but still, solid effort from both women, and it was enjoyable. One thing I wanted to note about this show was the music used for the promos, this metal music, non-mainstream stuff. I think WWE should be using this kind of music on the main shows. It gets you pumped up for the matches. In my opinion, a lot more than stuff like Demi Lovato, Cool for the Summer, and Flow Rider with the My House. I mean, those songs are more fitting for somebody going out to a nightclub and drinking and dancing rather than watching a wrestling show with a bunch of people beating the crap out of each other. Just my opinion, though. I really like the music that they used for this show, and I'm not sure if this is new or not. I did notice it on this show for the first time, but they have a Titantron that's directly above the ring, and the cameras had these shots where they were looking up towards that Titantron. I think it's a nice touch, something different. And before the main event, we had a backstage segment with William Regal being interviewed, and as he was being interviewed, Bobby Roode makes his second NXT appearance, walking behind Regal and going into the dressing room, and Regal abruptly ends the interview and goes into the room to, I guess, talk with Bobby Roode about contract negotiations. Then we had the main event, steel cage match, first ever steel cage match in NXT history. Finn Balor challenging Samoa Joe for the NXT title. I liked Finn Balor's entrance. There were steel cage fences set up on the ramp, and Finn Balor pushed one of them down. He was the Demon Balor for this match since it was a big match for the championship. Samoa Joe coming out looking intimidating. Crowd was chanting, "This is awesome," before the match even started. It was a good match. I would not say it was a great match. My biggest criticism of this was the fact that both guys were trying to escape the match early on. And it's one thing when a cowardly heel tries to escape a cage match, like Owen Hart. Owen Hart trying to escape right away makes sense. But for somebody like Samoa Joe to try and escape when his character is this badass who doesn't back down from a fight, to me it's not very believable. And same thing with Finn Balor trying to escape. The whole point of a cage match and what they were building towards was this idea that these guys are going to settle their score once and for all. And this was the ultimate grudge match, a steel cage match to settle their feud. I just wasn't a big fan of them trying to escape the cage. I think it should have just been a pinfall or submission only match inside the cage. But nonetheless, good match, very physical, lots of brutal chops and throwing each other into the cage back and forth, kicking out of finishers, the usual main event stuff. Finn Balor kicked out of the Muscle Buster, and then Samoa Joe kicked out of the coup de grace off the top rope. But in the end, you had Finn Balor on the top of the cage, and Samoa Joe did the Muscle Buster from the second rope and that was enough to put away Finn Balor and retain the NXT title. And that was the end of the show. So no surprise run-ins, nothing like that. Besides Bobby Roode, no other appearances, other than earlier in the show with the new tag team debuting with Paul Ellering. That was really the only major surprise on this entire show. But still, like I said at the beginning, entertaining show from start to finish. I would definitely recommend checking out the tag team match. It was just so much fun. Both of those teams are going to go very far in WWE, and the Nakamura-Aries match was really good as well. That'll wrap it up for my thoughts on the NXT show. Leave a comment. Let me know what you thought about the show, what you loved, what you liked, what you didn't like. So far in the NoDQ.com poll, it's overwhelmingly thumbs up as usual. NXT is always entertaining, and every show is really worth watching from start to finish. So if you did not see NXT Takeover, The End, make sure you check it out on the WWE Network for just $9.99. Make sure you stay tuned to NoDQ.com for all the very latest news and rumors regarding Money in the Bank coming up. Also, TNA Bound for Glory is this Sunday with the Hardy Brothers, Matt and Jeff finally going at it. Broken Matt Hardy and Brother Nero are going to settle their score once and for all. NoDQ.com will have you covered. Follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/AaronRift. You can get my coverage, and the live feed also goes up on NoDQ.com as well. Make sure you vote in the poll with your thoughts on the NXT TakeOver show. Go to NoDQ.com. And with all that being said, I will see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.